Hi, I'm Carla Page, and welcome to my show. Thank you so much for watching. You know, this week we're somewhere different. If you see some different surroundings, I'm actually on location at the Honorable Karen B. Johnson Library, downtown Schenectady, 99 Clinton Street. My guest this week, oh my God, I am so excited to have her here. Judge Teneka Frost, and she is running, she's a candidate for the Supreme Court. And I'm happy to have her here because I wanted to talk to her, let her tell us all about what's going on, and just share her feelings about views and things with all of you out there. I had her with me, we were talking about it earlier, in 2018 when she ran before. And now look, it's 2022. I want to say welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to speak on your platform. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It is. Now, for so many years, you have been the Schenectady City Court judge. And now that runs for how many years?
That is a 10-year term. So in 2018, I was appointed by Mayor Gary McCarthy to the city court bench. And that same year in 2018, in order to keep the seat, I had to run for a 10-year term. So that's how, and I've been on the court since then. So I still have a few more years left on my term, but yes, it is a 10-year term.
And the Supreme Court is for 14 years?
The state Supreme Court for the 4th Judicial District, which is the position that I'm currently running for, is a 14-year term.
Okay. So now, and that's a question that I did want to talk to you about. The 4th Judicial District covers where?
So it is 11 counties. It covers all of Schenectady, all of Saratoga, Fulton, Montgomery, Essex, Hamilton, St. Lawrence, Franklin, Warren, Washington. I believe I got them all. It's 11 counties. And so an individual who is elected to that position will have a chambers located in the county where they're from, but the responsibility to preside over cases would cover all 11 counties.
Wow, wonderful. So now you are originally from Albany, New York.
Yes.
So tell us about your background. So for those who may not know about it, because you first, of course, an attorney, but tell us about your, how it all got started for you, please.
My pleasure. So I was born and raised in Albany, and I come from a pretty big family. I'm one of 5 children. My mom is one of 13 children. My father's one of 5 children, mostly based in Albany. And so I went to Albany Public City Schools and graduated from there and went on to Syracuse University and Albany Law School, and I also have a master's in public administration from SUNY Albany. So my journey through getting education was very, I guess, impactful for me. I was labeled as at risk of dropping out of high school when I entered into Albany High School, and that's because of the community which I come from, Arbor Hill in the South End, and also my family background. I don't have a lot of high school graduates in my family line. And also I guess the situation of being in poverty. We received public assistance. We had Section 8 housing. So, and there were some tough challenges growing up. For me personally, trying to stay focused. I knew that my parents taught me that education was a key to, rising above the situation that you're in. And I just stayed super focused on making sure I was in school, that I did my work, that I took it seriously, that I listened to the adults and the teachers who in my case, they encouraged me. They really took the time to impart knowledge that I just sort of listened to. I remember one of my mentors describing me as a sponge, and that's really how I approached my childhood. I just tried to soak up all the good stuff that I saw in front of me, which was sometimes outside of my community and outside of my neighborhood, outside of my home. I did get a lot of great advice and direction from a lot of members of the community who saw something in me and really pushed me to, to help me be where I am today.
Wow, that's something. Beautiful. Woo, this is something, really. And it was so nice to interview you back in 2018. And I've seen you out and about at different places, and you are always so respectable and kind to me. And I just, I admire you. I want to say that publicly. I want to. Okay, so Election Day. We know it's Tuesday, November the 8th. The polls open at 6 a.m. through 9 p.m. It's interesting, Judge, because I used to always love to be able to do the polls. I loved working the polls. It was such a great feeling, and I want to be able to go back to that. There is early voting. Early voting starts October 29th through Sunday, November 6th. I'll repeat that. Saturday, October 29th through Sunday, November 6th. And you can check your local county board of elections for times and places. And guess what? The good thing about it is we're down here at the library at 99 Clinton Street. And this is one of the places where they have the early voting. It's right here in this building. So, I mean, this is, it doesn't get any better than this. It just doesn't. So what I'm going to do right at this particular point is just name the other people that are running, okay? Because just to be, fair, I want to because there are 3 seats that are available, and there are 6 candidates, okay? Yes. All right, 3 seats available, 6 candidates. So besides Judge Teneka Frost, also a candidate is Justice Robert Mueller, Judge Vincent Versace, Judge Richard Kupferman, Chris Obstarsky, and Allison M. McCabney. So they're also running. So I did want to acknowledge them as well. Is there anyone that you want to publicly thank right now before we go on to any more? Because you have been around a lot of people in your whole life. Who do you want to thank?
So there's a lot of people to thank, starting with you and the things that you do in the community, and again, giving me this opportunity today. My parents, my mom and my dad. My dad passed away when I was about to graduate from law school, so he has not been able to see any of this. I'm sure he would be more than elated to know that his daughter has achieved things that he probably never imagined for me, although he knew that I could do great things. I also want to thank, the city of Albany. That's where I was born and raised, and I learned so much from the people who lived in my community, the school district, just growing up, playing around, and getting to know what it is to be an adult. And I feel that I have such a great foundation growing up in Albany, a diverse, a wide range of experiences, and I do carry that with me. And my friends and family who continue to support me. Yeah, this is the 3rd time I'm running for an office, and there's people who I will tell, hey, I'm running for State Supreme Court Justice. What can I do to help? How can I support you? Without question. And it's so humbling to have a wide set of people who are rooting for you, supporting you. They trust you. They know that you would do a great job, and they're behind you 100%. And I also want to thank the city of Schenectady. I can't, I can't not thank Schenectady for the support and love that I've received. First being elected to the city court back in 2018, and as I'm running for state Supreme Court, I've received so much support from this community, and individuals coming up to me and saying, I heard you're in the race, I think it's wonderful. We support you. We know you would do a great job. So there are so many different individuals I need to thank. I also want to thank Albany Law School for giving me such a great foundation in legal experience that I carry with me. And not only the legal experience, but the experience I had at Albany Law School, being exposed to different types of positions you can use with your Juris Doctor degree. And when I went to Albany Law, I never imagined that I would be a judge. That was not something that I thought was going to be in my future, never really crossed my mind. And to know that that solid education that I received from there was preparing me for any position that I wanted to ascend to with that law degree.
See, if you are just joining me, I'm Carla. You know who I am. Thank you so much for watching. This show is really important because we're talking about the election, which is Tuesday, November the 8th, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The polls are open. And I have with me Judge Frost here, Judge Teneka Frost. And these cards that are around, they're all over the place, and she has signs, and she's running a campaign right now for Supreme Court. And we want to be able to let people hear from her and just get to know her more and all that. But you can look into her on the internet, www.electjudgefrost.com. I'll repeat that, www.electjudgefrost.com, or Facebook at Elect Judge Frost. Facebook, again, Elect Judge Frost. So let's go into the fact of you're the first African American judge. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so when I was elected in 2018 to the city of Schenectady court, I was the first African American to be elected city court judge, appointed and then elected. And what a wonderful opportunity it has been. I believe that the community has, well, let me back up. When a person walks into the courtroom, particularly if you're on the criminal side, you might not have ever walked in that courtroom before. You're not really familiar with the court system at all. And particularly if you're one of the people who are a member of our communities of color, there is a distrust of the system before you even have to be faced with it. And I'm keenly aware of that. Growing up in Arbor Hill and the South End in Albany, I too understand and that distrust. And I believe when people see me sitting there on the bench, they're still afraid, about what the outcome would be, concerned about their liberty. But I believe that my presence there and my approach to the bench, which is one where I understand being part of a marginalized community where your voice is not really heard, where sometimes people just step over you and make decisions on your behalf without including you. And I make sure that when I'm on a bench, I want a person to be heard, to be felt that they're being heard, and that their case in front of me is important, because it is. And so my goal is to make sure people understand that I might not be able to sit with you and have a full conversation about what's going on. Obviously, we're part of a system. There's a process in place. But I really want you to understand that I view you as a person. So I will call you Mr. or Mrs. or whatever your preferred pronouns are. I will acknowledge you being in front of me, look you in the eye, and if you do have a question, I will make sure that you can't direct questions to me per se, but I will make sure, okay, you need to make sure you talk to your attorney about that question. And I will give them the opportunity in court to speak with their attorney about something that they're confused about or they don't understand. So that, I feel, is very important to the role of making sure people feel welcomed in the court in the sense that it is a place that we do provide public service in a lot of regards. I want people to feel that they are respected, and I want to treat people with dignity. And the the justice system at times, particularly on the criminal side, can be very dehumanizing. People are making decisions on your behalf that affect your liberty. And that's, I do believe people need to be held accountable for their actions. And that's what our system is designed to do. But I do understand that that person is still a human being in front of me, and I can empathize with all sides, from the defense to the prosecutor to the victim. And those sort of thoughts are something that I feel that I sort of do a quick analysis in my head when I'm making a decision. How is it affecting all these different people? And I'm trying to come up with the best decision and what I believe is a fair decision.
I see. Wow, that's something. That really is. And the thing about it too is when someone comes to your court and they see you're there, African American woman, no matter what the race and culture, nationality or creed, they must still be taken back or surprised, correct?
Possibly. I think I would hope that us as a society moving forward, the bench in general, and I can talk not just New York State but nationwide, is seeing an increase in diversity of judges. I do believe there's more work to do, and a lot more work to do in terms of getting to that point where it is more representative of the people that it serves and the people that live in the communities. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running for state Supreme Court. There has not been a person of color that has been on the state Supreme Court in the 4th Judicial District. Other judicial districts do have diversity, but this judicial district does not currently. And this judicial district has a diverse population. There's 850,000 people that the district that live in a district, and there's also a rich and diverse history of diversity in what's called the North Country, mostly that's in the 11 counties. And the contributions of African Americans and others, Native Americans, are just now being brought about. And those issues are very important, and people really need to understand the history and the importance of having judges that reflect the population that they serve.
It's something, because when I was telling people that I was going to have you on my program, everyone's comment was the same, that just how kind you are and such a good person you are. And I thought, I felt exactly the same when they were saying that about you. And when people can say that kind of thing, I think it's nice. And I like the fact that you talk about being fair, because so many times we know there hasn't been fairness. And the fact that you mention the fact that you're fair, that there is very, good to know. And there's no excuse not to vote. If there's someone you really, really want in an office, you have to go out and vote for them on Tuesday, November the 8th. You have to just physically go and vote. That's what's going to make it all, happen. So I have a quick question for you from the community. Will you take a quick question,
Absolutely.
Please? Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Casey Linden wanted to know. Okay, so you're city court judge right now. So this is how they worded it. What will the duties be differently if you were to be elected? What was going to change with you? What's the difference?
So first I'll start by describing what I do in city court and what I would be doing on state Supreme Court. So city court is a trial level court, and it is one of the beginning levels of the court process. So in city court, I handle criminal matters. I have the jurisdiction to basically decide misdemeanor cases, felony cases. They do come through city court at the arraignment process, but the city court does not have any jurisdiction over the resolution of felony matters. And in the criminal side, I also preside over jury trials and bench trials, which is jury trials consist of a jury, and bench trials, the judge gets to make the decision. So that's one part of the court system. The other side is the civil side, where there are small claims matters, and the jurisdiction of small claims matters is monetary jurisdiction of $5,000. So the city court cannot hear anything or cannot give a judgment more than $5,000. There are landlord-tenant cases that are part of the civil part, summary proceedings that the court handles, as well as commercial claims, and there's traffic matters that they're quasi-criminal, as well as code violations that the court is responsible for. So those are what the city court judge does. So the state Supreme Court is also a trial level court, meaning that the judge can preside over jury trials as well as make decisions in bench trial. The difference is there's no jurisdictional limit in terms of the amount of money or the types of cases that can be heard. So, for instance, a city court judge cannot hear a matrimonial case or divorce case or a foreclosure matter. And there are, multi-million-dollar cases that someone can file civilly that a city court judge would not be able to handle, but could be what would definitely be within the jurisdiction of the state Supreme Court. So in essence, the state Supreme Court is a higher level trial court, and it has unlimited jurisdiction, as well as more complex cases because of the dollar figures or what's at stake in terms of the resolution.
I see. Okay, so for more information, all right, Judge Teneka Frost, here is the information, and I've got a couple more questions for you. Thanks for coming out and being with me today. I mean that. I know you're busy, and I'm so glad that you could be here.
Thank you.
For more information, www.electjudgefrost.com or Facebook, Elect Judge Frost. Okay, so we want to get that out again. So you and I have been places where we've both received awards. What other awards have you received?
So I've received quite a few awards. Recently, I was awarded, I believe it was back in March, Woman of Inspiration from the Annuaze Women's Organization, which is an organization of women who are of African descent. And so they had a celebration about individuals who were inspiring others within the community. I also received an award back in May from the Alpha Chi, Omega Chi Women's Organization. It's an organization consisting of African Americans. It dates back over 100 years. And in that situation, they were recognizing judges, women judges of color in the community, not just Schenectady, but also Albany, other parts of the community. So I've received a lot of awards of recognition from the community, both in Albany, and also Schenectady, and the Capital District generally. And I am appreciative of that, but also I think more importantly, the important work those community organizations do within the community and supporting particularly our youth. A lot of those organizations do work with our youth, which is a segment of the population I'm very passionate about, helping and volunteering and serving. And I have done that in my past, and I currently have a program in my court called the UCAN program, and that program is a court-monitored mentoring program that deals with individuals between the ages of 18 and 25, first-time offender, and the goal is to make sure that they are held accountable for their actions, but to get the services and support they need to hopefully turn their life around and be a positive contributor to the community. And the most important thing is to make sure they don't have a criminal record, because once a person does have a criminal record, it does impact their ability to get a job or where they live. And this program is cognizant of that and tries to get people, the younger people, an opportunity to, again, be accountable for their actions, turn their life around, and contribute positively to their own lives. And I want to thank the mentors, particularly that come from the community, that volunteer their time to meet once a week with the individuals that are in the program. Right now, I think I have about 4 individuals in my program. We have more individuals coming in at our next meeting next month. And one of the individuals in the programs, she is at SUNY Schenectady, taking college classes for the first time. We have individuals who are looking to change a career and get a more stable job so they can support themselves and their family. And I do believe not everybody who comes to or requests to come into the UCAN program is accepted. There is a team of individuals where we decide whether that person is appropriate for the program or not. So I have had people come and want to be part of the program, but they were not a good fit. So it's only for those individuals who really want this opportunity to change their life around and are doing the things necessarily to do that, because there are requirements that you have to meet to actually successfully complete the 1 year in the program. And one of those is if you don't have a GED, you have to get your GED before the program ends.
Thank you. I'm really proud of you, and whoever comes and sits at your court in front of you has to have a changed life, whatever you, because you're going to help them regardless. And even if it's years down the road, they make a change. You've planted something, because I think your presence shows how much you care. And we're out of time, but this is Judge Frost's card, and on the back there's a lot of information. I just cannot close without you just acknowledging your faith-based community, because I know without the good Lord, I don't know where I'd be. So would you just close out with that for us, please, Judge? And again, I'm proud of you, and I'm just saying to myself, this is the time to please vote. No excuses. Go ahead.
Yes. So I believe everyone has been given given potential to succeed and be whoever they want to be. And I believe I know that's been a tenet in my life that I've believed since I was a teenager. I'm thankful for my parents for being parents that made sure I went to church, make sure I participated in church. And so I have grown up in church. I still am a member of a church and participate in church. Today I've taught Sunday school, I've taught women's Bible study. And my goal is to be a servant and to, God has blessed me with a lot of different things. A wonderful base in education, a wonderful career, and the ability to mentor and inspire others. And so I don't take that lightly, and I do give back. And I am very, very honored and proud that my faith has been a constant force that has helped me to propel and meet and overcome a lot of challenges. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to meet this next challenge of being elected to state Supreme Court.
Oh, thank you very much. This is the book that I want you to get out at some point from the library down here. The Vote, Making Your Voice Heard, right here from the Honorable Karen B. Johnson Library here, downtown Schenectady, where I'm on location at. I'm Carla Page saying see you next week. Don't forget, no excuses. Please, please vote. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.